Have you ever heard of a game called The Quiet Man by Square Enix? The Quiet Man was met with ire and unhappiness in the gaming community. And you know about me, I love to talk about games that are bad to try and pick apart parts of them that might make them good. I think that's what brings us here today. What happened to The Quiet Man? Now, before I get into the whole gameplay and stuff, I do want to share an anecdote. This game was suggested by my co-host and partner in crime, Mark Magro. Thank you, Mark, for suggesting The Quiet Man. When I asked you about bad games, you were like, oh, I got one. The Quiet Man. That game's horrible. And then when Mark and Dave, my other partner in crime, came over, played video games all night. We're gonna have like a real bro sesh where we like beat all the games. We bought Resident Evil, we never played it, and then we bought The Quiet Man, which is $15. Resident Evil is $40, so that's great. And then Mark, Dave, and I, we played through The Quiet Man to completion. Mark goes to bed, Dave and I, we don't sleep. That's not what we do. When people go to sleep, we stay awake, and then when we complain about being tired, so we stayed up to beat it again. Why would we beat this game that's mediocre again? That is where The Quiet Man hides the game that they should have released originally. All right, I'm done. Let's go to the... Right off the bat, I just want to make sure you know that I am going to be spoiling some pretty major plot points of this game to kind of make my point. So we're going to go through it once. You'll get to hear what the game doesn't sound like. And then I'll go through it again, get us back up to the story part. And then you'll get to hear what a difference it is. Just to hear what they're saying, understand what they're saying, and why I think the game should have been like that the whole way through. This game is one of the few games that I don't hate the full motion video of. The character models look really good compared to their real life all others, and that's very rare to not focus on the full motion video. It means it was well directed, even though this hot dog guy is just staring off into the distance until he sees the one guy. And right here is where it you didn't even notice. Honestly, seamless. I'm very impressed by how they did that. I think that was very good, honestly. Like, as far as full motion video into CGI goes, I think that was pretty good. Keep the sandwich. And now we see his past. Very dramatic, very upsetting. We don't need a lot of audio for this, I'll admit. Like, some of the storytelling does go fine without audio. Like, this dude's a jerk. There he is, we guess. Don't let my playing fool you. I'm not saying I'm really good at this game, but I'm making it look a lot more fluid than it feels. Also, this happens a lot to tell the story and remind you that what's going through Dane's head while he's fighting his fights. This guy's trying to escape. Is that the dude with the bag? Yeah, it is. And we get the suitcase in a most stylish fashion. Whoa! I don't remember that. Take a bath. Your fighting style stinks. Hey, we're probably criminals. Yeah, we're probably criminals. Yeah. Are you a criminal? Crime things. Let me tell you, we were stealing some stuff. And hold on. We were just talking about crime. What are you doing here, nerd? Okay, so they're talking about clothing. We're meeting Dane's best friend, and you have to think Dane understands. Again, I can't stress enough that they could have done more telling the story from his perspective. Maybe they could have put in the subtitles what he thinks they're saying, what he's deducing, what he can read, what was signed. Literally anything but nothing. Good job getting the drugs. See, he signs. Where's the subtitle? So, alright, so I'm not going to make you sit through all of this. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring us back to this scene. Again, it's the first major real story scene in the game. And I think you'll see what I mean by how the story's not really impacted by this Treatment.
Shows you got no respect for yourself or Tay. Plus, man, look, you got blood all over you. What?
It's a story now. I really do think this game cut off its nose to spite its face. Because the story, when it all wraps up, is pretty great. And it's just a shame. That's all. It's just a shame that the story got kind of bogged down by taking a cool idea too far. And I really do think there were other ways they could have explored. I don't know the answers, but I do think there might have been other ways for them to really amplify, like, this guy's deaf. He's not going to catch the story fully. So let's utilize this in some way. Let's think about how that would be. Let's figure out a way to incorporate what it's really like for a deaf person to communicate with the world. How they get by. Because he's not suddenly deaf.
Oh. Who's a good boy? You definitely get something extra under the tree.
You see, even right there, I have subtitles off, and Dane speaks sign language. And he signed, and it said, thank you. Little things like that in the regular version of the game would have been perfect. I would have been like, what are these guys? What are they friends? And then, thank you, brother. Like, calling somebody brother is, it's really friendly, like really close. That's something you do to someone
the wrong courier. They're not trying to move.
All right,
guy, huh?
I've rambled enough. So the biggest tragedy of this game is that the good version of the story is hidden behind the experimental version of the story. They try to tell the tale of what it's like to be deaf from the perspective of a deaf person, but they're ignoring the fact that deaf people do have ways to communicate with the world around them. They do have ways to understand the world around them. I feel as though we could have been given Dane's angle on situations in a much more productive way, in a much more conclusive way to what he thought was going on. And then being able to compare that to what was actually going on. There are scenes where he's talking with his father that are way too buried in levels for me to go for. His dad's talking and they're sitting in the car, and his dad's here talking outward. His dad's saying things about how he's sorry, but he doesn't know. Dane doesn't know, and I think that's tragic. I think that's more tragic than most of the other scenes in the game. That little note where it's like his dad's trying to communicate, but even his own father is just not taking the time to make sure Dane can hear him. Quiet Man, if you really want to take in a good story and you have patience, I do suggest playing this game. Just tread lightly. Don't play it on hard. I highly recommend you play this with friends. It's better to laugh at the game than it is to take it seriously. I think that's what got me through it. I really do appreciate it that you got this far in the video. Make sure you follow me on Twitch, on Twitter, danomak, danomak, and of course follow this channel. Because it's like where the real potatoes are going. There's potatoes in the channel. That's a weird note to leave off on. But okay, well, thank you very much and have a great day.